Boys, UFC 318 just finished up, and like I've been saying all week that this is going to be a good card. It was a good card. Now the UFC have an excuse to give us non-stacked, not pay-per-view level UFC pay-per-views from now on, because they go, hey, look how good UFC 318 did. There's a lot of fun fights. It was a fun night of fights. Yeah, that's all very true. Which, just like I said, this is going to be the new normal. And with that being said, your boy aced this card. Well, I almost aced this card. I didn't know, silly me didn't know that we were going to see prime Michael Johnson, prime Daniel Rodriguez, and fucking prime Paulo Costa. Silly me, I didn't think of that factor. Other than those three fights, your boy aced this card. With that being said, as you can see on screen, we got every single winner. And if you look closely, we also got Dustin Poirier here, because if you guys haven't been listening, there's been some sneaky, if you were listening to some of the interviews, there's going to be another opponent. I'll list who's his next opponent, but we also got those prelims, because on this Rare MMA channel, we go through every single winner, main card and prelims. But let's start off with the main card, main event, Max Holloway. And there's a long list of names that we could give Max Holloway, but I'm just going to give you guys the layout of what's going to happen at lightweight. For the title, Ilia Topuria is going to fight Patty. It doesn't make the most sense ranking-wise, but it makes sense beef-wise, and it makes sense if you want to sell pay-per-views. And the UFC, I know they like their money. That's going to be the next fight. In between then, we need a number one contender fight. We're going to do Armin versus Justin Gaethje. Number one contender, winner of that's getting a title fight. Then after that, we still need some shit in the background. Max Holloway is going to take on Charles Oliveira. They have a grudge match, Even in one of the interviews after the fight, Holloway said that, Charles, he was low-key talking a little bit of shit towards Charles, saying, last time he was complaining about some neck injury, but when they did a scan, nothing popped up. So low-key chirping at him. I think this makes the most sense out of every fight to make for Max Holloway. Arguably one of the better fights you can make for Max Holloway, especially at 155 right now, and it makes sense. In the post-fight interviews, Dana was saying some bullshit about it kind of makes sense to have Max versus Ilia and have the BMF belt and the undisputed belt all on the line. I don't want to see that right now. I really don't care to see that. I want to see this one. It makes sense. That being said, you guys are all probably wondering, what the hell is Dustin Poirier doing on here? We just saw this dude retire, and again, you guys weren't paying attention. During the build up to the last dance, this dude already said what his game plan was. This dude's going on the juice. And yeah, that's the next game plan for Dustin Poirier. We're going to see him on the juice. We're going to see jacked P-head Poirier out here. And I won't be mad about it. I hope he said he's going to live stream it. I hope we see him live stream it. And I can't wait to see him on commentary, all jacked up on roids. I can't wait for this one. With that being said, I predicted a lot of shit to the T in this card, especially with my rare predictions. One thing that I missed out, this dude loves spitting during his fights with Max Holloway. I don't know if I ever noticed it as much as I did with this Max Holloway fight. Constantly spitting on the ground. Didn't touch his shorts as much as I thought he would, but still a fun fight. I think this is arguably, if he didn't win this fight, the best way he could have gone out. Have a competitive 5-round war with one of the best to ever do it. Typically, these UFC fighters are a year and a half, 2 years too late when they retire. I think Dustin did it pretty much perfectly. He went tooth and nail with someone who is one of the best in the division right now, and he just can't hang with them anymore. He can't hang with the best. It is what it is. And quickly before, I just hate this narrative of people saying that, the undisputed belt and the interim belt are so vastly different. Undisputed, you're telling me Dustin Poirier with an interim championship belt is any worse than a Jamal Hill with an undisputed belt? Than a Sean Strickland with an undisputed belt? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I hate that argument that people say, yeah, he's so good, but he was never undisputed. I don't think it really matters that much. With that being said, let's keep moving down to one of the dudes that I predicted wrong, because I didn't think we would see prime Paulo Costa bring his ass back into the octagon. With that being said, he called out Chimaev. Even if Chimaev loses to DDP, I don't see them making this fight. Paulo Costa has had way too many undeserved jump up in the rankings. Absolutely makes no sense to book him versus Chimaev if he loses. However, a fighter who just fought on this card, who's going to be ahead of him in the rankings, a fresh matchup, Brendan Allen. Fresh matchup for both of these dudes. Makes sense ranking wise, makes sense timeline wise. Both these dudes fought on the exact same card, didn't take that much damage, didn't get finished, both went to a decision. I want to see this one, make this for like UFC 322, you know. I don't want to see these guys be out here waiting, you know, going past their prime when they should be fighting. I want to see this one next. Both of them should be healthy enough to go. Let's keep moving down. Roman Kopylov. It is what it is. I needed to give this dude someone to fight. I didn't need to have Roman Kopylov here, but for his opponent, I needed him here. He was also on this card. He also got a win here. And now I think he deserves a jump up into the rankings. He got a first round. Now, it wasn't the most impressive win because it was against a no-name dude pretty much, but still, Bruno Ferreira deserves a jump up into the top 15. Roman Kopylov coming off a loss to Paulo Costa. I think this makes sense. Ferreira deserves a top 15 matchup. Roman Kopylov deserves to fight someone who's just outside the rankings. Run this one next. Again, neither of these dudes. Kopylov maybe needs a little bit of time to recover because that dude got rocked a lot and he ate a bunch of those nasty body shots. He's going to need a little bit of time to recover, but nothing insane. Again, these guys should be fighting this year again. With that being said, I did not expect to see prime D-Rod out here. I'm not going to lie. I picked Kevin Holland. Dude got rocked, Millie rocked in the second round. Third round came back, and then he sold it. You know, Kevin Holland literally sold it, trying to do these retarded Mario jump, Yahoo flying knees that you watch the replay. Them shits ain't landing anywhere close to D-Rod. With that being said, Rodriguez. Who do we give Rodriguez? I'm looking at the rankings now because this dude's going to be ranked. They are probably going to give him a ranked opponent. You know, it just makes sense to give him someone who's ranked. And at this point, this division's kind of already booked up. I think we have to give him a loser of an up-and-coming fight. He's going to have to wait out a little bit. He's going to have to wait out regardless. This dude almost got finished in the third round. He's going to need some time off. I think we give him the loser of a up-and-coming fight. And I think that loser is going to be Jeff Neal. I think he's going to lose to Carlos Prates. Book this one. It depends how badly he loses to Prates. Either book it at the end of the year, early next year. It makes sense. Right now, just that division right now, 170 is so booked up right now. A lot of these fights have already been booked in the rankings, especially close to where D-Rod will be ranked. So it doesn't. I don't know who else to book him with. But that being said, Kevin Holland, I guarantee he's gonna want to come back here in 2-3 months. I guarantee he's going to want to fight, and a fight that would line up with his schedule and line up with his ranking right now. Gabriel Bonfim. It makes sense ranking wise. It makes sense scheduling wise. And if we want to keep building Gabriel Bonfim, getting a win over someone like a Kevin Holland, not just for Gabriel Bonfim, but for Kevin Holland too. Getting either of these names on their resume is something that they want. Is a good name value guy. It'll be a good fun fight. I wouldn't be mad this being a main event of one of these non-pay-per-view events. I wouldn't be mad about that. But let's keep moving on. Boys, I think we need to finally admit that that Pitbull's fucking washed. You know, he goes out here and say, yeah, last fight was a one-off. You know, I was disappointed that I wasn't more urgent. Goes out here and pretty much does the exact same thing. You know, no urgency in Pitbull other than when he semi-rocks his opponent. With that being said, in the rankings, timeline-wise, the only fight that kind of makes sense is someone like a Youssef Zalal. I was thinking of giving Pitbull the loser of Brian Ortega and T-City, but I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they want to. The UFC wouldn't do that. If anything, they either want to build up Pitbull, give him some contenders so we can get him into that belt position, because he's not getting any younger and he's probably getting paid decently well. And second of that, if he does end up losing to someone, you want it to be against a up-and-coming guy that, you know, is still young in the promotion, and that's going to be Youssef Zalal. You know, it makes sense that wise, narrative-wise. I don't know how much it makes sense scheduling-wise. You know, Pitbull didn't take that much damage. He's too old here to be sitting out for too long. I think it could work scheduling-wise, and again, ranking-wise, it works too. Let's keep moving down. Again, I didn't anticipate to see prime 39, borderline 40-year-old Michael Johnson in the octagon tonight. That's what we ended up seeing. I believe it was second round, dropped Daniel bad, and I don't know. I want to believe it's just because, you know, Michael Johnson's just getting into his second prime. But a part of me also thinks that maybe Daniel just ain't that good. I don't know which one it is yet. But with that being said, I also want to mention, I forgot to mention this in the beginning. Is anyone else a little bit worried that maybe Max Holloway's chin isn't as good as it used to be? You know, my boy got dropped in this fight. Now, I want to say it had to do because Dustin hit him with that perfect shot right behind the ear. I want to believe that's the case, but I don't know if I want to live in a world where we have someone like a Max Holloway who doesn't have a granite chin anymore. With that being said, the next few fights for Holloway is going to be fun, and I'm excited to see if that chin holds up against someone like an Oliveira and pretty much anyone in the 155 division. Plus, at 155, Holloway hits like a truck. We saw him hurt Poirier bad multiple times in this fight. But with that being said, Michael Johnson. Who do we give Johnson? I want to give him someone in the top 15. That ain't going to happen, though. I think we bump him up tremendously in the rankings, and we give him someone who also arguably deserves a top 15 opponent. I say these two guys fight it out. Winner can get a top 15 opponent. That's going to be Fares Ziam. Now, Ziam is probably arguably ready to go anytime now. And like I said, same thing for Pitbull. Johnson's borderline 40. He don't got time to sit out. Scheduling-wise, it could work. And I want to see this one before the end of the year, in a few months, 3-4 months tops. And again, winner can get a top 15 opponent. This would be, it's good name value for both these dudes. Either Michael Johnson gets a win over a up-and-coming threat in the lightweight division in Ziam, who's been on a tear recently, or Ziam gets a huge name value win in Michael Johnson. I want to see this one next. Make this one next. Let's run through these prelims pretty fast here because I know a lot of guys don't care that much. Vinicius Oliveira is... this dude is literally a Brazilian cartoon version of Colby Garbrandt. This dude swings like a cartoon character, and he literally reminds me of Cody Garbrandt when he just doesn't care at all. The only difference is Vinicius low-key has a chin to him. With that being said, who do we give him next? He has to be someone in the rankings. I say we give him Rob Font. It's a good jump up in the rankings. Plus, if I'm Rob Font, I low-key want this fight because I think Rob Font could do some nasty things to Vinicius Oliveira. This dude has his chin wide up in the air, waiting, begging to be hit, hands low to the ground with some predictable, cartoonish fighting, you know? Even the commentary were clowning on Vinicius Oliveira, saying that he's cocking this right hook all the way back from the ground up, you know? And that's literally how he was fighting. People clown on Dricus for being a cartoon character, you know, in the UFC. This dude is literally a Brazilian cartoon Cody Garbrandt, and I will not stop saying it. With that being said, Nikolay also got it done. This was arguably the most forgettable fight of the night. I'm not gonna lie. I think we give him someone else who's on this card coming off a loss. And you know, I'm thinking of this now. Scheduling wise doesn't work out. I don't know why I put him here. This is a dumb reason, but I got Adam Fuckett. That's right, Adam Fuckett. I know you guys are a little bit butthurt when I call people Adam Fuckett, just gay out here getting butthurt for no reason. I know for a fact you're as zoomed in on that Conor McGregor pick because you get so butthurt from me saying Adam Fuckett. I know you're the type of dude to zoom in on that Conor pick. With that being said, Adam Fuckett, Adam Fugit, I don't give a fuck. Make this one next. Honestly, I don't even know if this is the right choice because schedule-wise it's definitely not going to work out because Adam got knocked out and he ain't going to be on the same schedule. Maybe we don't do this one next. Maybe we do something like a Basel Haves or something like that. Or a Ramirez, or even Prado. You could do a Francisco Prado. You could do something like that. That being said, let's keep moving down. Ateba Gautier just knocked out the boy Robert Valentine. I don't know how that dude got in the UFC. Props to him, but yeah, Ateba. I think it's time we test the wrestling skills of Ateba. Tresean Gore. For some reason, I thought that Tresean Gore got cut from the UFC. Could be wrong, could be someone else, but I thought he got cut. If he got cut, give him some other wrestler, not like super high level wrestler, but a decent wrestler. I want to see how good Gautier's wrestling is. I don't want another fucking Ngannou situation where we get some heavy-handed Cameroon knockout artist to get to the belt just to realize this dude can't wrestle for shit. Give him a okay wrestler for his next fight if Tresean Gore is no longer in the UFC. Moving down though, Islam Dulatov knocked out the boy Adam Fuckett. Who do we give him next? I think this would be a crazy ass fight. Charles Radke. Maybe this is a big jump up for Dulatov, you know. But with that being said, I don't care. I think this would be a fun scrap. I think this is ending out in a knockout, and I want this one next. Put this on a, again, non-pay-per-view fight if we need to. I wouldn't be mad having this on a pay-per-view, but I want to see this one soon. This dude took no damage. Radke should be back, ready to go back anytime now after his loss to Mike Malott. I want to see this one next, and I want to see this shit soon. I want to see this on 319, 320. I mean, it doesn't, we don't need to take that long to put these dudes on cards. With that being said, Jimmy Crute got it done. I said he would get it done. I didn't think he would get the finish, though. I thought it'd be a 29-28, pretty bad performance. I did say, though, his ground game is better, and yeah, I'm surprised he got the finish, but again, his ground game was just better. He called out Dustin Jacoby. If I'm Dustin Jacoby, yes, this is a huge downgrade into the rankings, but this is an easy fight, let's be honest. Dustin Jacoby's knocking this dude out in the first, so if I'm Dustin, I'm taking this fight, easy money. Ryan Spann, he also got it done. I thought it'd be a round 2. This dude took down Bresky like he was a child and made it look easy with one of the easiest subs I've ever seen. Talisman Teixeira next. You know, there's not that many people in heavyweight that we can do. It makes sense scheduling wise, it makes sense ranking wise, and it's a good bounce back fight for Teixeira, and it's also just a good fight for Ryan Spann. Run this one next. Carli Judice. I thought this shit was going to be a classic, boring, forgetful women's fight. It wasn't. It was a good fight. Shout out to Judice getting that nasty knee finish. That being said, it was a good stand-up fight for 3 rounds. Who do we give her next? I think we're going to Canada semi soon here to, was it Vancouver or something like that? Whenever we are, I want Carli Judice versus Jamie Lee Horth on that card. Book this shit next. Those are every single winners and a few losers here and there. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of this matchmaking? Would you match up these dudes any differently? And yeah, for the dudes who are getting triggered of me saying Adam fuck it instead of Adam Fugit, go suck a dick. I don't care. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I will see you guys in my next video.